Hello everyone, it is February 15th and I need to start some seeds. Some of my native plant seeds need 30, 60 to 90 days cold stratification, which just means they need to be cold and wet for that many days. And I'm already 70 days away from my last frost. So some of those 90-day ones I'll probably try and do in the fridge. I intended to do this around Christmas, but I hadn't ordered the supplies in time. Some of them are still not here, so I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do. Also, just wanted to mention, I've never done this before. I have no idea what I'm doing. I did watch a few videos, mostly from a YouTube channel called Blossom and Branch Farm, and I'm gonna give that a shot. However, some of my supplies are not the same as hers, so I'm not sure if it's really gonna work out, but I will do my best. So I'm showing you a few attempts at seed starting here. They're all starting roughly the same with some Happy Frog potting soil and some water, and then I'm putting it in the container of choice. I started here with a fruit tray that was for grapes, so it's a bit deeper than your standard blueberry or strawberry tray, and just adding the soil straight in. I do learn later that I need to add the mycorrhizal inoculant straight into the soil before putting it in the tray, but I haven't learned that lesson yet, so that's the biggest difference you'll see later. So I do want to make sure that it's deep enough for the native plant roots. I'm just making sure that it's about 2.5 inches deep. Here's my first attempt. It's an absolute failure. I did want to share it with you so that we can all learn together. I took some prairie smoke seeds. They're quite small. And I have a water and molasses mixture that I'm going to coat the seeds with so that then when you add the inoculant on top of it, they should all coat together. However, my inoculant is granular instead of powdered, so it didn't work. And that's the main thing that I learned here. So in the future, I add the inoculant straight to the soil mixture rather than onto the seeds. So I just get rid of this molasses mixture altogether and the inoculant goes straight into the soil. Here I am trying to get it off my hand and into the soil, and I'm really struggling. The seeds and the inoculant are separating. I just have a sticky molasses water mixture all over my hands. I tried with a toothpick as well, but my potting soil isn't very fine. I just use it straight out of the bag rather than sifting it, so I couldn't get it off the toothpick either. My second attempt was more successful. I did move outdoors because I finally realized it was warm enough. Here I'm adding the inoculant straight to the soil, and then adding the water, and then mixing it together by hand. Hopefully this is a better filming setup. I know it's not the best angle, but again, I'm still learning. Here's another grape tray, and I'm adding the soil straight in. I'm compacting it a little bit, but not too much that oxygen can't get down into the roots. Here I'm adding New England aster seeds that I collected. I have a ton of them, so I just kind of threw them in all higgledy-piggledy. And closing it up and labeling it. My third attempt is the milk jug method. I've also seen some videos on this, but I've never tried it myself. So again, all starting the same way, some potting soil, some inoculant, and some water. Making sure that when I compact it a little bit that it clumps together, moisture doesn't run out. All right, here's my milk jug. I have a transparent milk jug. Make sure that it's transparent so it can have a greenhouse effect. If it's opaque, sunlight won't get in. I cut it around the circumference right below the handle to make sure that it was deep enough. And then I took it out to the grass and I stabbed a screwdriver through it. So no drill needed. Literally, you could take a pencil or a screwdriver and create the holes at the bottom so that moisture has a path to get out and your plants don't rot. Doing the same thing sowing, adding the soil, making sure that it's somewhat compacted, but not so much that oxygen can't get down to the roots. And then I'm adding some cardinal flower seeds. These are pretty small, so they have a packet within the packet. And I'm just going to be sprinkling these over the soil, maybe a little bit more precious than I was with those New England aster seeds. Compacting them a little bit into the soil because they're small seeds and making sure that they don't fly away, but also they will get some sunlight. And I'm going to be wrapping up the cut I have in this milk jug with some duct tape. It doesn't need to be perfect. It's not waterproof. We actually want water to get in here. It's mostly just to make sure that there will be a greenhouse effect with some humidity, and also that it doesn't flop open and spill and or wind takes the seeds away. Here I am labeling it cardinal flower and putting it out into our grass. So I have this little patch where I grew some seeds in pots last year. So I'm putting it right next to there, so it's fairly protected from wind, but it is touching the actual earth. And that way it will have a thermal battery effect with the earth. And when it snows or rains, the water will get into the seeds, but also if it snows, it will insulate it a little bit as well. Please don't look at my spelling or handwriting. It's pretty terrible. This is the group that I was able to finish in this first day. Here's my fourth attempt. I'm using some seed trays that I bought from Greenhouse Megastore. These trays are deep plug trays, so I think they're 4.5 inches deep. I'm starting the soil mixture out the same way, so potting soil, inoculant, and water, mixing it all up. These trays had a lot more volume than I actually anticipated. They took 3 of these bowls worth to fill up the entire tray. I did cut some of that out so that this video didn't drag on. But just know that there's a little bit more soil volume in these trays than a milk jug, for example. I have 20 of these deep plug trays, and the bottom trays have no holes so that you can bottom water and or catch rain outside. I did also purchase some lids, some transparent lids for these, but they haven't come in yet. So I ordered them over a month ago. These are just going to go outside without any cover, and I'm just going to hope for the best that the seeds don't fly away. Whenever those lids come, I'll just put them on then. I did this attempt a few days later. It was a lot colder outside, so I moved back into the kitchen. I was going a little bit slower trying to be clean, but it did make a little bit of a mess. This is Pearly Everlasting. These are quite small seeds, and I'm going to be filling up 2/3 of this tray, and I'm going to attempt to put 2 to 3 seeds in each plug. However, because these seeds are so small, I might end up with a few more than that, but it's better to me to add more and hedge my bets against a successful germination than to not have any germinate in a plug at all. Now I'm adding some shrubby St. John's wort. I do plan on planting 5 to 7 of these, so I am growing about 12 plugs just to make sure that I have some success there in case some don't take. Both the seeds as well as the plugs themselves outside once I transplant them. And I forgot, I'm going to sprinkle some soil on top of these because I don't have lids. I want to try to prevent the seeds from blowing away in the wind. It's going to be pretty windy here in the next week, so this is my attempt at trying to ensure that the seeds don't blow away. That's it for me for seed starting this week. Thanks for coming along while I learn. I hope you learned something too. Later in the spring, I'll show you if we were successful or if it was a big failure, but right now I have no idea. That's one of the reasons I love gardening. There's a lot of successes and a lot of failures. You learn so much every season. It doesn't really matter if you're a very seasoned person. The weather changes, circumstances change, you just have no idea. The process of learning and failing and learning and failing and maybe succeeding is actually really fun, and something that I really enjoy is the problem solving of it all. Thanks for coming along this journey with me. So yeah, stick around. I've got reading, DIY, gardening, baking, potentially some cooking, all sorts of hobbies and crafts that I'm enjoying learning right now. So I'll catch you next time. Bye.